What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are having a great day. So today's story time is probably one of the worst times I've ever gotten yelled at by a teacher that I can think of. Also, guys, sorry about the gameplay. I'm like in a lobby most of the time. Gameplay was just not there last night from when I was streaming. But also story times are probably gonna be coming out weekly. I'm gonna try and keep it to once a week. I have a whole bunch of them in store. But anyways, let's get into the story time. So this story time takes back in 8th grade. The beginning of the year of 8th grade, I had this reading teacher. Let's call her Miss Smith. So Miss Smith, I hadn't had any problems with her up to this point. It was probably a couple months into the school year, and yeah, I just didn't have any problems with this teacher up to this point until the day that the story times take place. So this day in 8th grade started off as a normal day. I very sluggishly got out of bed, got a shower, got ready for my day, and I got to school and I went through my first four classes pretty normally, nothing out of the usual. And then I get to Miss Smith's class, okay? So Miss Smith's class, we sat at a table. It was me and my one buddy. Let's call him Jason. I think that's the name I gave him when I told the story on Twitch last night. So let's call this buddy Jason, okay? So it was me, then my buddy Jason sat next to me. Then there's this girl that was in our grade. I didn't really know her, that sat across from us at this table. So I get into class just like any normal day, and I'm sitting there with my buddy Jason. Now, my buddy Jason, being the dumbass that he is for some reason, decides to take this girl's pencil and throw it across the room. Don't know why he did that. Don't know why he decided to be a dumbass. But yeah, he just took this girl's pencil and threw it across the room. So me, just being me, vibing, I get up and I walk across the room to get this girl's pencil. And I go across the room and I bend down, I pick it up, and just as I pick it up, Miss Smith walks in. Now Miss Smith was definitely one of the stricter teachers, and I don't know why, but for some reason back in 8th grade I thought that like if I told Miss Smith that Jason had taken the pencil and thrown it across the room, I feel like I would have gotten in trouble or Jason would have gotten in a lot of trouble for some reason. I don't know. That's just my thought process back then. So she walks in the room, Miss Smith, and she goes, "How'd that pencil get over there?" And so me, trying to be a good friend and cover for my buddy Jason, I was like, "Oh, I accidentally dropped it," and then I went to go pick it up, and I accidentally put my foot forward and kicked it. And by the way, guys, that's the worst fucking excuse. Okay, if you're gonna make an excuse to try and get you and your buddies out of trouble, at least try and think it's one better than that. Like, I don't even know how that would logically work, but that's what I came up with in my head back in 8th grade. And so she like obviously didn't believe me because I mean, who the hell would be dumb enough to believe that? And she's like, "Are you sure about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just accidentally kicked it across the room, and now I'm over here to pick it up." And she goes, "Come out in the hallway with me." And I'm like, "Fuck, this is not at all what I need. This is just not how I imagined my day going." So I walk out in the hallway, and she's like, "Tell me the truth. How'd that pencil get across the room?" And I stuck to my story, my original bullshit story, and I said, "Yeah, I went down to pick it up, and I accidentally kicked it, and that's how it got over there." And she goes, "Bullshit, I don't believe you." And she's like, "Are you sure that's the story you want to stick with?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what happened, man." Very just, me being a little shit, trying to bullshit me and my buddy out of a situation. So she uh, she goes back into the room. She tells me to stay in the hallway, and she goes back into the room. And I don't know to this day if my buddy Jason just told her what had actually happened. I don't know why he'd do that because, well, you'd obviously know that that'd get me in a shit ton of trouble. Or someone snitched, which, I mean, rightfully so. I rightfully deserve that because that was the worst fucking excuse I've ever came up with in my goddamn life. And she comes back out in the hallway, and she looks absolutely heated, and she just starts yelling at me. And when I say she starts yelling at me, I mean she starts like fucking screaming at me. Like, I don't think a teacher has ever yelled at me so bad than Miss Smith did on that day. So she's like yelling at me. She's like, "Why would you lie to me? You're so untrustworthy." And I don't exactly remember what all she said, but she yelled at me pretty freaking loud. And let me remind you, back in middle school in 8th grade, all of the 8th grade classes were in one hallway, and they were pretty freaking close together. So literally all the other classes could hear me getting bitched out by this teacher. And yeah, she screamed at me, and she's like, "Okay, go back in the room and sit down, and don't cause any more problems." And or now that I think of that, maybe someone snitched on me, but said that I threw it. I don't fucking know. Um, but anyways, so I go back in and I sit back down, and fucking Jason is just laughing his ass off. He's like, "That was funny as hell, dude." And I'm like, "You're a fucking asshole. I wouldn't have been in this situation if you just not picked up that goddamn pencil and threw it across the fucking room." And he's like still laughing his ass off. And this Miss Smith goes, she says my name, then she says Jason. She goes, "Are we gonna have problems today?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I was just talking to them." She goes, "There's no talking in class, right? You shouldn't be talking, so you guys need to be quiet." And yeah, well, then we went through that class. It was pretty horrible because she was just like kind of rude to me all the time. Like she wouldn't call on me to answer any questions, and every time I asked for help, she would just be like, "Oh, you should already know this," or something like that. She's just kind of a dick to me for the rest of the day. I mean, rightfully so, because I was a little asshole that made up the bullshit story. But yeah, that was just like the rest of that. That was just the rest of the class, and the rest of my day actually went on pretty normal. Of course, a bunch of my buddies in other classes, they were like, "Yo, man, we could hear you and scream down the hallway. What the hell was that about?" And I'm like, "Dude, like, I don't even want to talk about it. That was just a whole shit show of a situation." Anyways, so yeah, me and Miss Smith ended up having a couple more run-ins throughout the year, but not very many because like around March or I forget when is when COVID hit, and we went virtual, so I didn't really talk to her much throughout the rest of the year. Now some of you guys are probably wondering, Dubs, whatever happened to you and Miss Smith? Like, do you still talk to her? Do you still see her? I actually didn't see her or talk to her for a very long time until recently. So recently, I got this job at this grocery store, and I actually hadn't seen her go in the grocery store at all. I just didn't think like that she went into that grocery store that much. And then like a couple weeks ago, she came in, she bought some stuff, and I'm a cashier, so I checked her out. And at first I was like, "Oh shit, she's still gonna be pissed about what happened back in 8th grade." Which I mean, I didn't think she'd be. That's just sometimes I overthink about shit. And yeah, I checked her stuff out, and we actually had a pretty cool conversation. She's like, "Oh, you're in 12th grade now. That's so cool. How's life going?" and stuff like that. So we had a little conversation, and that's nice. So I guess me and Miss Smith, we're pretty chill now. But like I said, there's a couple instances that happened that year with Miss Smith, but those are definitely story times for another day. So that's gonna be the end of the story time, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Like I said, story times, we're gonna try and keep them coming on a weekly. And I hope you all have a great day. If you guys would like, you can go follow my Twitter at Again Crow, and I don't fucking care what Elon Musk says. It will always be Twitter to me. That's just how it works. But anyways, like I said, hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.